Alright guys, welcome to the first ever episode of Building Stuff in a Dorm Room. This is going to be the setup you guys will see for about the next 6 months, and the first thing we're going to make is a utility knife. Now I have a piece of 1/4 inch stock that I milled up before I went to college, and I'm going to cut out the design that I just made up with a coping saw and a razor saw. The razor saw will cut out the straight parts, coping saw will cut out the round parts. And like I said earlier, I just kind of came up with this design, but if you want to try to find a template, feel free to. Now that one side's all cut out, I'm going to trace it again on the same piece of wood, and that'll be the other side of the knife. Now at this point, they're both pretty rough, so I'm going to glue them together, and then I'll use a combination of a file and a saw to make them mirror images of each other. Now I didn't want the handle to be just a straight up box, so I cut some chamfers in the sides using a block plane, and for the curves I used a file. Then I'll separate the scales and wipe off any excess glue. Then I figured out where I wanted the blade to sit, and I marked that down against one of the scales so we can carve out a little indentation that it'll sit in. And we'll just do that using a small chisel. Now since we have such a long handle, we might as well put it to good use. So I scribed another line where another razor blade will sit. That way when one gets dull, I can replace it with another one. I originally thought I could join the two scales together with some wooden dowels. That's what that rod sticking up out of the bottom of the scale is, but that didn't work out too well. So I ended up dry fitting the blades in there, and then I figured out where I wanted to put some holes so I can screw the two scales together. And one of them needs to be in between the notch in the utility blade. The other one is just towards the bottom to keep it together. With the pilot holes drilled, I countersunk those holes so the screw heads won't be sticking out too far. After that, I matched up the scales as perfect as I could get them, and then I taped them and then clamped them down. And we'll drill all the way through there so that we can connect the two pieces together with a screw. The screws that I used were pretty old, so I freshened up the heads on a diamond stone. That way they look nice and shiny. They were also a little bit too long, so I scraped off the tips with a metal file. And this is how everything looks once it's all put together. And we'll also put a coat of olive oil on there to protect it and make it look nice.